Hey everybody, this is Sheena. I wanted to make a video about what do you need to know in order to find a teaching job in Korea. These are some things that I wish I had known going into the process, but I kind of found out kind of piecemeal along the way. So I'm going to talk about the visa process first. Most people that are trying to find a job in Korea will need to apply for the E2 visa. You will need a passport that's valid at least 6 months from the time that you arrive in Korea. Um, from the minute that you decide that you do want to try to find a job in Korea, go ahead and get the visa process rolling because the paperwork and the process can take several months, 2, 3 months depending. So right when you decide that you want to go to Korea, go ahead and start the process. So the E2 visa. Anyway, let's go back. To teach in Korea, anyone, no matter what country, either the US, Canada, New Zealand, the UK, Ireland, South Africa, you'll need a 3 or usually 4 year bachelor degree, BA, BS degree in any subject. Any subject, the minimum. Some places prefer an English major, lit major, linguistics, ESL, yada yada major, but you need at least a BA degree to teach in Korea. You also need obviously a passport, which I said with 6 months left in validity. You also will need a nationwide criminal background check, which is what I'm going to talk about first because that can take. It took me about 2 months to get that back, so I'm going to talk about that first. For the E2 visa. I am actually a Korean adoptee, so I applied for the F4 visa. But now this year, even adopted people, even overseas Koreans, Korean Americans, GoPos still need to apply for the nationwide background check. So, okay, we'll talk about that first. You'll need to go to the FBI website, fbi.gov. Check that out. Print off the application. It's an $18 fee for the background check. You'll also need to acquire a set of fingerprints, actual physical rolled fingerprints on a physical like paper card. So you'll send that in along with your $18 fee to the CJIS department, and you'll send it off to Maryland. Like I said, go ahead and do that first. That'll take about 2 months to get back. Also to note, don't send these documents via regular USPS. It could, in my case, it was just sitting in New Hampshire for a while, and that took, extra weeks for it to arrive in Maryland and then get processed. So do what I did, send it by FedEx, UPS. I sent it by FedEx. You can track it. It's there 2, 3 days, signed, done. You're good. So go ahead and do that. It's also, you'll need to, once you get that back, the federal FBI check saying that you don't have a criminal record, you'll then need to send that to the U.S. Department of State in Washington, D.C. to what's called the apostille. See, yep, apostille. Okay. Which is pretty much a to show that it's legit. It's like a double check on the document being authentic. So we'll then send that to DC, and that's an $8 fee if I'm correct. Okay, so you get that out of the way, the CBC criminal background check out of the way. Awesome. Then you'll need to also get a notarized copy of your diploma, your BA or BS diploma. What I did was I just went to my local UPS store, and when the Notary Public was available, she made a copy of my diploma. I went to my state's website, Secretary of State website. I'm living in Washington State, so I sent the notarized copy of the diploma with my letter of request to say, hey, can you put the apostille saying that this is a true, legit diploma. And that only took 1 week. I sent it by regular priority mail, and it only took a week to get back to me. So I'm hoping that other states have a quick turnaround as well with that. Okay, that covers that. You'll also need to go ahead and order a couple transcripts, sealed transcripts from your university. I would say two, at least two, three to be safe. I mean, it would be good just to have one in case you need one when you're in Korea. So, let's see what else. Still talking about the E2 visa. Let's see. It's a little bit harder now. It's a little bit more jumping through hoops for the E2 visa. Yes, you'll have to get the FBI check, the apostille diploma. You actually need to go to your Korean consulate near where you live. If you're not near a city, I went to the one in Seattle, but if you're too far away, go online. You can see about submitting your paperwork to the Korean consulate via mail instead of in person. But I'm not sure how it'll work because now for E2 visa, they're requiring actually an in-person interview face-to-face just to make sure you're not, shady or whatever. So check that out if you are applying for the E2. Now I want to actually address people such as myself that are either Korean adoptees or Korean overseas Koreans that can apply for the F4 visa. It pretty much gives you the same rights as a Korean person living in Korea. So I had the F4 visa for the first time 6 years ago when I went back to Korea, but I found out that having previously had the F4 is not enough to have it reissued. You need to go back again to the Korean consulate near wherever you live. I went to one in Seattle and apply for the F4 again. You'll just need to bring in paperwork from your adoption agency if you're also adopted, and to prove that you renounced your Korean citizenship, which I did back 6 years ago. But I also had to prove that again when I went back early in the summer to get my F4 visa. So just get in touch with your social worker from your Korean adoption agency. I went through ESWS, and the social worker was luckily very responsive and very willing to get the paperwork for me because she understood, I need to get the visa in order to secure my teaching position in Korea. So that's about that. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Okay. So people going to teach in Korea. There are really two options. You can either teach in a public school or a private academy, which is called a Hagwon. Hagwon. I will touch on the public school situation briefly. I'm not planning to teach in a public school, but many people do. You can go through the EPIC or the SMO program, EPIK, SMOE programs. You have to apply. Fill out the application and whatnot. When you teach in a public school, it's more cut and dry. You might say you have a better idea what you're getting into with the public school system. The base pay for someone with a BA degree is 2 million won. I would say you don't want to go somewhere where you're going to make any less than that. That's definitely a base pay. It goes for both public and private schools. If you have English degree, English lit, linguistics major, it's likely that you'll make a little bit more, maybe 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. If you have an MA degree, it's going to go up from there, 2.4, 2.5. So it's your advantage. It's to your advantage to have more experience. Also, if you have a TEFL certification, I think that's about 100 hours. That's very attractive to people that are hiring as well. So you'll be able to secure maybe a little bit better salary. But yes, I would say you don't want to work for anything less than 2.0 salary-wise. Yep, so the EPIC and the SMO programs. I've also heard that Corvia Recruiter is I've heard good things about that. Corvia only recruits for public schools. Now we're going to talk about recruiters and my experience with the recruiters. You can go ahead if you don't know about it. It's a big popular website. Go to eslcafe.com/job/Korea. And that's the job board. People and recruiters will post job openings there. And I mean, yeah, you definitely check out recruiters, but also keep in mind that it's their job. They're getting paid a commission to place you, and you're pretty much just going to be another number to them. Some are good people and care about placing quality teachers in quality schools, but just take it as a grain of salt that they are trying to place you and get their commission for placing you. So when it comes to recruiters, I would say definitely do your research. Contact a lot of them. I mean, you want to know what's out there, what jobs are out there, and everything. Um, Also, decide, you want to be in a big city? Do you want to be in a medium-sized city? Do you not really care? Do you want to be in the middle of nowhere? Many people only know Seoul, the capital of Korea, and that's great. I want to be placed in Seoul when I go to Korea. I'm trying to get a job in Seoul. Then Busan is the second largest. Daegu, Daejeon, uh, things like that. Definitely ask how close is it to Seoul, how close is it to Busan, yada yada. Um, Ask for pictures of an apartment, either from the recruiter or the actual school. Definitely, it's a good idea to ask to speak to current teachers that are there. I mean, if its school is reputable, they shouldn't have anything to hide. I mean, it may take them a couple days to get back to you, given time difference and just matter of fact. But reputable schools shouldn't have anything to hide from you. Now, talking about actually getting a job in Korea. I mean, it's just the way it is. Most schools, public or private, I found especially in Seoul proper, actually in Seoul, Metro Seoul, prefer to have a Caucasian teacher. I think it's just important for them and for the students and for the parents to have that to put a white face with learning English. So if you're a Caucasian female, I think you'll probably have the best chances of getting a job in Korea. For whatever reason, they tend to think that female teachers are better teachers, whatever. Also, some jobs are specifically open to Gilpo overseas Koreans, Korean Americans. Some of them, and most of them, will probably want someone that's bilingual in Korean. I am not bilingual in Korean, unfortunately. So I am kind of in a unique situation. If there are other people like me, other Korean adoptees trying to go back, I would say reach out to any other Korean adoptees you know or that you know have been in Korea, or talk to a friend that you know in Korea and say, hey, can I speak to a friend that you know? And yeah, you really have to network. I would definitely try and network and get a kind of real-time opinion about certain schools. I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate that there's still that bias that they want the Caucasian teacher. But I mean, that's kind of the way it is. So I would say definitely get some sort of tutoring and teaching experience that can only be to your benefit. Maybe try and get the TEFL certification that can only be to your benefit too. Also, people ask, do I have to speak Korean to teach English in Korean? The flat answer is no, ... But obviously, if you're going to live there for a year or longer, it's definitely to your benefit to learn Hangul, to learn the Korean alphabet at least. It's relatively easy to learn to read it. When I went the first time, I did not know the alphabet in Korean, and once I learned, I was like, oh, awesome, I can read the signs, and oh yeah, it says that, it says that. It definitely makes it a lot easier. Depending where you are in Seoul, traveling on the subway line, there'll be English. They'll say the station's name in Korean, and then they'll say the English, and the signs will say, subway, to exit a subway, it'll say exit this way, whatever. But it's definitely to your benefit to learn the Korean alphabet, learn some sayings. Just beneficial anyway. I think Korean people are definitely generally very welcoming, especially Caucasian teachers. I think they want to, show that Korean people are nice and polite, and they want to. A lot of them will go out of their way to make you feel comfortable. Um, and they want to learn English. I think they see it as a good opportunity to say, oh, here's a native English speaker. Let's practice our English. For someone like me that's adopted, it's a little bit different situation. I have to say, oh no, I'm Korean adopted, yada yada yada. So the video is getting a little bit long here, so I think I'm going to end here for now. Thanks, everybody. Bye.